Across the country, right-wing conservatives have been attacking the American education system. They've targeted something they inaccurately call critical race theory, or CRT, which is now right-wing code for any mention of race and racism in America. Governor Ron DeSantis has turned Florida into the model anti-CRT battleground. In January, his administration rejected a high school advanced placement course on African-American studies, citing historical inaccuracies along with the inclusion of queer theory and CRT. Today, the Miami Herald reports on Florida's other objections. State officials claim that the course contained lessons on slavery that, quote, may lead to a viewpoint of an oppressor versus oppressed based solely on race or ethnicity, end quote. They also worried that the course, quote, may only present one side of this issue and may not offer any opposing viewpoints, end quote, of chattel slavery. That's just one example of one state's contribution to this nationwide movement to water down the truth of our nation's history and pick up steam. Joining us now is Nikole Hannah-Jones. She's a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter covering racial injustice for the New York Times Magazine and Howard University's Knight Chair in Race and Journalism. She's also the creator of the landmark project, the 1619 Project, which has also been banned from most Florida classrooms. Nikole has been personally targeted by this conservative so-called war on woke. Nikole, my friend, it is good to see you again.
So good to see you. And wow, what a powerful and devastating report on what's happening with New College.
And it's just one example, right? I mean, your own work with the 1619 Project placed the contributions of Black Americans, for instance, at the center of the country's story. And many conservatives, including the then president of the United States, Donald Trump, attacked you very specifically for your work. You received personal threats. A major career opportunity for you was snatched away from you, although you've done quite well as a result. Why? I remember talking to you about years ago. I didn't get mad. I was so amazed at the information you gave me. Why does this stuff make people so angry?
You know, it's such an important question. And watching that report on New College, it just made me think about how segregationists responded to integration, that they would rather destroy public institutions than accept a single Black child into a college or an elementary school that they thought belonged to white Americans. And now we're seeing, I really think, the inheritors of that legacy doing the same thing because they want and believe in this stingy, selfish, small view of America and want to control how our children think about the society that we're in. You know, you can not teach the 1619 Project in Florida. It's been prohibited by that same Department of Education, but you can teach videos from PragerU. Yep. The difference is, of course, the 1619 Project was actually written mostly by academic historians. So when you ask why, Ali, it's because teaching Black American history is political by definition. What they fear is if we honestly grapple with the fact that we were founded as a slaveholding republic, that many of our founders believed in ideas of liberty for white men and the enslavement of Black people, they're pretty clear when they say if we learn this history, people will learn to hate America. I don't believe that, but I think it's very revealing that they think the truth of this country will make people think poorly of this country. And so they don't want our children to get that understanding. Now, you and I know that if you learn about the Black freedom struggle, you find that this is an extremely patriotic struggle to perfect a country where their own ancestors were in slavery. But these are people who don't want our children to think, they don't want our children to have empathy, and they really want to enact their very sad vision of America and force it upon all of us.
So many things have happened in the last few years, including the 1619 Project and the very visible killing of George Floyd, that have brought us to this moment of social progress and reckoning. And after such moments in history in America, we've seen backlash. We saw backlash against Reconstruction. We saw, as you mentioned, the backlash at the integration of public schools, the passage of the Civil Rights Act, and the election of the country's first Black president. Is this going to be another key moment of backlash? I thought this was a passing thing, but it's not. It seems to be getting worse with each day.
Absolutely. So what we know is that progress, forward progress, progressive progress, racial progress in this country is always fought, and that those moments are very fleeting. And then we see a racist progress. We see a retrenchment. So, we can look at what's happening with Ron DeSantis in Florida. We can look at Sarah Huckabee in Arkansas, also now banning the teaching of African-American AP, saying that it teaches children to hate America. We could look at the Supreme Court basically ignoring the fact that Black Americans are still on the bottom of every indicator of well-being when it ruled against affirmative action, that we're certainly in this period of what I fear is going to be an extended backlash, and that we as Americans have to decide what country are we going to be and what are we going to allow to be done in our name? Because one thing that Dr. King said was that those who wish us ill seem to use time much more efficiently than those who wish us well. So this is, we just had the March on Washington anniversary. On the day that they marked that, there was a white supremacist massacre that occurred in Jacksonville. So we've always had these two opposing selves in America, what Dr. King also called a schizophrenia about our country. And I think we're going to have to decide who are we going to be.
Is there a correlation that's easy for you to make between this demonization of Black history that we're going through, this whitewashing of America's history, and the domestic extremism and the racist killing that we saw in Jacksonville? Do these things, does one create a permission structure for the other?
Absolutely. Now, to be clear, even before these attacks on teaching accurate American history occurred, we were still always have seen racist violence in this country. But certainly this idea that white Americans are under attack, that something is being taken from them, that they're being replaced, feeds into an ideology that can become very dangerous, because then people think that, they have to take up arms to protect something that they're losing. So I don't think you can discount that this rhetoric is very dangerous. We got into journalism because we know the power of words, and rhetoric can move people to act, and it can shape a really false vision of America that leads people to think it's okay if I kill, because if I don't, they're going to kill me, or they're going to take something from me. And I think that we're in a very dangerous time right now.
And you are at the forefront of it, Nicole. Thanks for your bravery. Thanks for making us all a lot smarter. There are many more of us who are deeply grateful for the work that you've done than who oppose you. Nikole Hannah-Jones, we always appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Nicole, by the way, was the first featured guest on the Velshi Band Book Club and will be one of the guests on my brand new Velshi Band Book Club podcast, where we talk about the 1619 Project and why her work is part of the book banning epidemic across this country. The first two episodes of the podcast are out now. You can scan the QR code on your screen or listen wherever you get your podcasts.